Hello, I'm Mr. Kissinger, and this is Grade 5, Module 1, Lesson 10. Our objective for today's lesson is we're going to be subtracting decimals using place value strategies, and we're going to relate those strategies to a written method, which is our standard algorithm. So we're going to start by using our place value charts so that we can get kind of a better understanding of how this all works. And then we're going to move pretty quickly into using the standard algorithm that we're more familiar with when we subtract. So last week, or last lesson I should say, we used the standard algorithm to add. It's going to be very similar when we move into it when we subtract as well, as you'll see when we get to that part of the lesson. So it says subtract writing the difference in standard form. You may use a place value chart to solve. The first one I don't think we'll need a place value chart for. That one says 5/10 minus 2/10 equals blank tenths. 5/10 minus 2/10. 5 minus 2 is 3. Gives us 3/10. And then our standard form would just be 0.3 or 0.3. So now we move into using a few different place values. This one says 5 ones 9,000ths minus 2 ones equals. So let's draw ourselves a place value chart, and we'll start with ones. And then we'll do tenths, hundredths, and thousandths. All right, so how many ones do we have? So we have 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many tenths? We don't have any tenths. How many hundredths? We have any hundredths. And then we have 9 thousandths. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. When I draw these, I always like to use rows of 5, just so it's easier to count. So I can see there's 5 here, there's 5 here, and then 4 on the bottom. 5 plus 4 is 9. And then what we need to do is we need to subtract 2 ones. So we're just going to take 2 of these ones, and we're going to remove them. And we have 3 ones. Make sure we have a decimal point in here. 3 ones. 0 tenths, 0 hundredths, and then we have 9 thousandths. So we have 3 ones, 9 thousandths, and what that'll look like in standard form is 3.009. 3 and 9 thousandths. So that makes sense if we think about it, because 5 ones 9 thousandths minus 2 ones is 3 ones 9 thousandths. All right, so let's try one more up here, and then we'll move into our standard algorithm. So this one we have 7 hundredths, 8 hundredths minus 4 hundredths. Yeah, we'll do that one. So we have our hundreds, and then we have our tens, and we have ones, and then we have our tenths and our hundredths. And right in between our ones and our tenths, we have our decimal point there. And it says we have 7 hundredths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we have 8 hundredths. So what we're going to do is we're going to subtract our 4 hundredths. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we have 7, 0 here, 0 here, 0 here, and we have 4 here. We bring our decimal point down. We have 704 hundredths. So 7 hundredths, 4 hundredths, 700.04. All right. So these down here we're going to solve using the standard algorithm. So we're just going to do 1.4 minus 0.7 equals. Again, just like our addition, we want to make sure that our decimal points here are lined up in the same place. 4 minus 7, we can't take 7 from 4. So what we're going to do is we'll borrow from our 1. It'll be 14 minus 7, 14 tenths minus 7 tenths, and that's going to give us 7. But we're not done yet. 1.4 minus 0.7 is not 7. We need to bring our decimal point down, and it gives us 0.7 or 0.7, 7 tenths. So this is where, again, it can get a little tricky, is when we have different place values within our numbers. So we have 91.49 minus 0.7. I always like to put in the 0 afterward to give myself that extra placeholder. That way I remember where these decimal points go. You don't need to do that, but I like to do it. It makes life easier for me. So now I can just do 9 minus 0, and I would get 9. 4 minus 7. Again, we're going to have to borrow. We can't take 7 away from 4. So we make this a 0. We have 14 minus 7. We make it 7. We'll bring our 0 down. And then 9 minus 0. 9. And then, again, we got to make sure that we bring our decimal point down in the same place. And we get 90.79. Or 90 and 79 hundredths. So remember, when we're adding or subtracting, we always have to bring our decimal point down. And make sure that it's in the correct spot. I think we have time for one more. We'll try this letter E right here. Do 60.91 minus 2.856. So again, don't look at how many place values we have. Look at where our decimal point is. Those decimal points need to be lined up. And again, I'm going to add another 0 on the end here, just so that I know that there is nothing in the thousands place there, but that my decimal point is lined up correctly. I'm going to borrow from this 1 here, give myself 10 minus 6, which is 4. I can't do 0 minus 5. I can't take 5 away from 0. So I'm going to have to borrow from this 9 and make it an 8. And then this becomes a 10. 10 minus 5 is 5. 8 minus 8 is 0. 0 minus 2, we're going to have a problem again. We're going to need to borrow. Put that 6 into a 5. 10 minus 2 is 8. And then 5 minus 0 is 5. So we end up with 58.054. 58 and 54 thousandths. So that's where we're going to end for today. You guys have an awesome rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.